You are watching Pausing with Erik. We pause for a second or two. How do we keep life coherent when so much is changing? This is episode 307, Sketching a Place of Pausing, part 2. So back about 8 months ago, I believe, I think it is episode 269, we did the part 1 of today's episode. And in that episode, I made use of this wood cube sketch. And we made use of pen and paper to sketch down what a place of pausing could be like. And we arrived at some findings. And my thinking today is to make a part 2 of that episode. So if you want to watch this in its entirety, you can go back to episode 269. So it's sketch we're looking at today. Sketch is a long-term skill. It's a skill for our long-term situation. And our long-term situation is for when we think about or make plans for or worry about our long-term future plans. So it's not so much our future plans in themselves. It's not so much the long term in itself, but us being in a state of thinking about it or worrying about it. That is our long-term situation in a pausing kind of way. The image for long-term skill sketch is a pen and paper. A stylized pen and paper. And this is what we do. We pause and sit down with pen and paper. Sketch is how we give our thoughts a physical body. So this wood cube is a sketch. In this sense, this wood cube is a sketch. Because on this cube, I have taken my thoughts and put it on here and given my thoughts a physical body. So that my thoughts, my plans for the future, does not only reside in here or in here, but also here. So with long-term skill sketch, we are in the process of making our plans ever more real with physical bodies, such as this one. So today I will do like I did in episode 269 and just take some time and sketch So I will sit here in silence and sketch. And you can do the same if you want. You can bring out pen and paper and just spend some time with me just sketching about what you want to make real. So some thoughts you want to give a physical body. Some thoughts or plans you want to make a bit more real, here and now. So I will sketch about a place of pausing, which is what I am making plans for, to make a place of pausing. So I will just do that now for some time. Okay. So what I arrived at now, in this place of pausing, last time, in part 1, we talked about that a place of pausing is relevant for 3 groups in my mind. And those 3 groups are artists, educators, and spiritualists. I find these 3 groups to be great, very useful, very important groups for different reasons. And now this is new for this part 2. I didn't think of this last time. But here in the outer sort of edges, I wrote what I think is great about them. So what I find to be great about artists, among other things, is that they are daring. They put themselves out there, they try new things, they say or express what few people dare to express. That's great. Educators, they are disciplined. They don't just teach, one time and then it's over. They have this sort of discipline to them. They're organized. They are dedicated. They're disciplined. And then spiritualists, they have a quality to them which is very underrated in these times. They are sentimental. They care about something. They take upon themselves to hold in their hands what this is all for, why we fight, why we even bother. They are sentimental, and that is great. So, okay, we have a place of pausing where these 3 groups meet and they bring their own things to the table. They bring daring, they bring discipline, and they bring sentimentality. And then, when they meet via pausing or through the skill of pausing, to just take a second or two to just recognize what is going on, to see what is interesting right here and now. By doing this, the combination of these 3 sort of great qualities give 3 different combinations. So the daring and the discipline give sort of fruit number 1 or achievement number 1. Daring and sentimentality gives number 2, and sentimentality and discipline gives number 3. So what is interesting to look at, to pause with, is how these 3 may come about. It's like 3 new terms, and when I sat down and sketched, it didn't come to me straight away, but I think the combination of these 3 things into these 3 fruits is very interesting to look at. What is the combination of daring and sentimentality? So it's bold but yet relevant. It's bold but still protecting something. That's nice. The combination of daring and discipline. That yes, you're bold, but you're also sort of taking your time with it, not overexerting yourself. You're doing it one step at a time. That's interesting. and discipline plus sentimentality. That you're not only disciplined in a cold way, but you also have your sights on what is important, why we do it in the first place. So discipline with a clear purpose. So I think these three are interesting for me to look further at what they might be. So that once these three groups get together and pause, they may attain these three fruits. They are still somewhat unclear as to how they look more concretely. But I really like this setup. It's like these three groups have the potential to fine-tune one another or to create something together through pausing. Because pausing, it sort of gives us this sense of space, this sense of breathing space that kind of like that we don't have to figure everything out ourselves, and we do not have to arrive at the perfect answer straight away. To allow it to take time. Unfortunately, in these times right now, it would seem that it's quite difficult for these three groups to sort of join. There's a lot of conflict right now in the world and in our societies. And conflict is sort of, in a way, the opposite to pausing. Not necessarily, but often. Conflict is the opposite of pausing. Daring, discipline, and sentimentality. Three very nice things. I think this group, in a Swedish context, I'm Swedish, I'm sitting right now in Sweden. Sentimentality and spiritualism is culturally, in modern Sweden, it hasn't been this way. Like 100 years ago it wasn't like this, but right now in Sweden I would say that spiritualism and sentimentality is sort of looked down upon, it's frowned upon to a high degree, and I think that's a shame. After all, without sentimentality, without something you care about, why get up in the morning? So I would say many Swedes are very depressed because they have lost this. They have lost the sentimental side to life. And I get this feeling that pausing can be a vehicle or a skill to combine these things into something really nice. I also think Sweden is lacking a lot of this right now. I think Sweden has become, right now, almost solely this discipline and education. But education I feel, without much meaning, without much daring, very sort of bland, meaningless education, actually. It's not interesting. A lot of Swedish education is simply not interesting. It's dull. So, obviously, something has been lost. These three need to come together. It's a great undertaking, but it's interesting. That's it for today. Thank you.